Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, our last game of today, a best of 3 Heat take on ECSTATIC, winner to the RMRs, losers has to retry from the first stage. It's the 4th and final qualifier next as well, which means you have one more shot at that title run in the RMRs, otherwise you are done. I'm Retro, joined by Neo, taking you through the action. It's a best of 3. We start an overpass, and we start with Body getting aggressive and getting all the information on A, but just as he does that, the pin is pulled, towards B.
Yeah, of course, this is ECSTATIC's map pick, and they've got that B site for free. Bomb to go down momentarily. That once this post plant is set up, the 5 versus 5 retake for Heat is going to be so difficult to find some fortune. And Cabbi sneaking by the smoke. He finds the first. Ecstasy falls.
Looking good. ECSTATIC man up, and of course they have that bomb plant as well, which means Heat need to get a move on, and with no kits currently on these CTs, they are going to have to get the pressure going, and Body, who will relieve some of that force that EcstTatic have, as Brzer gone. Tap of the bomb, they know he's not on it. Queenix will find the second, the USP is going to be drawn out by Cabbi. Kraghen with the double, and ECSTATIC have themselves their first on the board. Pretty definitive as well there by the Danish side.
Yeah, it's a great start. The kind of the dream start by ECSTATIC, and I know we saw Zippel in and about chat. He was looking and ready and hoping and waiting for this game to be on the stream, and now we have kick-started things. And of course, for those of you who don't know, this is that best of 3, and the maps are Overpass is the first map, picked by ECSTATIC, Dust 2, Color X, picked by Heat, and if we get there, Vertigo is our decider.
Fast towards B. They double up once again. Manx lobbing the flashes in, and that'll allow his team basically to full send it to what is a vacant B bomb site. Brzer will happily punch in the digits once more and get ECSTATIC on for a second. Little bit of info about the history of ECSTATIC as well. This is their 3rd time playing in the 5th place quali spot. 3rd time. They love a good best of 3. Or
yeah,
no,
their
third
do.
best of 3, sorry. Their 3rd best of 3 to get in the qualifying spot. 3rd tries your charm, though, maybe for ECSTATIC, as it is indeed a 2nd on the board, and Heat dispensed off quite easily. Only the 1 casualty. Cabbi falls, but they've got M4s on that CT side now.
Yeah, it's a great start. Really solid start by ECSTATIC, but as you mentioned, now it's over towards Heat. In response, what can they bring to the table now that they themselves are going to have that full buy gonna come out? They're going to have the ability to counter the AKs of ECSTATIC. And you look towards the T side of ECSTATIC. For them, this is essentially chalked up to being what is just a bonus, right? For them, anything they find it, even if it's not successful, damage dealt over towards Heat will hurt that economy, and it will make things significantly more difficult in the long run for the CT side. I'll have to wait and see. Overpass is one of those maps that generally leans in favor of that CT side, especially with how difficult it can be at times to pick up momentum on the T side. But so far, so good for ECSTATIC. Tac pause done and dusted, and we are ready to rumble. Brzer gonna pick himself up an AK-47, so we got a triple AK setup, double Galil, and a whole host of utility for the likes of ECSTATIC. And well, for Heat, they themselves full buy coming out, 4M4A1S and the 1M4A4 in the hands of Jax.
Something to note as well, though, is that this is an eco taken, or I say an eco, it's a bonus buy other than Brzer taken by ECSTATIC here, right? So, not the end of the world if they're to lose out here. And if they can do some damage while doing so, Heat are going to be in a pretty tricky spot, because as you said, they brought out all the M4s in the world, and the utility is quite minimal as well. So if ECSTATIC are punching holes through Heat, then there could be some serious question marks to that CT side. They look pretty good, though, on the T side against Entropic. The CT a little bit sloppier in the game of Nuke that we saw earlier on. So, you know, maybe that's a sign of things to come for a Heat CT side. Maybe they've made changes, though, in the break. Joko goes 1-for-1 with Cabbi.
And of course, we see a nice setup over towards Banana on A here. They're looking for that control, but ECSTATIC, for the time being, at least nowhere to be seen. It's a much slower tempo from them as they're trying to just find the mistakes from Heat. Utility over towards A, and they're doubling back towards B.
They've gone for B a fair bit now. A triple stack on the A site means it's a correct call. When do they pull the pin, though? Does Heat try and push more of their resources towards the B site, or they try and keep them up towards A? They seem quite confident that it is indeed going to be an A play. Now maybe the penny drops, but by then ECSTATIC go for an execute of their own. Door swung open, Kraghen couldn't hear it amidst the fighting as Body and Afro both with kills. A 2v4, but a very important bomb plant here for Cabbi. Now how do Heat respond? How do they react? CSGO yet to escape the smoke. Will drop in towards water. The audio cue given away, but this gives him a good fighting chance on short. Drops a molly in towards hell as well. But he is now just left alone here. A lot in front of him. Does find the first, but only the first. Is indeed HEET surviving with 3 and get themselves a first on the board.
There we go. HEET needed to kickstart some momentum. It's safe to say they needed to get a little bit of success early doors to deny Ecstatic sort of running away with this T site, and there it is. But as we mentioned, this is only a bonus round. For Ecstatic, it's not the end of the world that they have lost that round. They will, for the most part, be able to buy into next. The only question mark that we did see, of course, is that of Brzer. He invested heavily in towards the previous, so he'll only have a deagle. His priority in this round is being the supporting player when it comes to utility. A Galil and Ecstkraghen as well to support. A lot of reliance on EcstMankz and EcstQueenix to really step up into their own there with the AK. So try and deny HEET tying this game up.
Well, it's not even like that they're, you know, it's because we just expect more from them. It's the fact that we've got a Deagle and a Galil, as you said, on the other 2 players. Like, this is quite a scary thought already. Brzer, half health. Not going to be ideal. Flashbang miss from Brzer as well. That was to try and introduce Cabbi to some of that party control. He'll go with it anyway. He will indeed find himself some control towards A. Very slow round for here for Ecstatic. I think they're starting to realise the importance of this one as well. Bearing in mind HEET, they've actually gambled a fair bit of their resources up towards A. Doesn't stop the first fight going down. Manx, a little bit of a laboured spray. Queenix here to follow up as well as Jax will find one. A sandwich kill feed, but Ecstatic the leg up.
Look what they can find as well. Brzer, of course, has the AK to work with now. Man advantage in favor of the T side. They're still testing those waters over towards a Queenix will be met for Molotov. Looking for the kill with a messy spray and body. 2 points of HP, just about remains alive. How much longer? Not much as he falls.
Oh, man. That's scary, but Kraghen at the same time finding another kill. And I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. Afro, so much to do. But in a 1 versus 3, I mean, I think an AK is more valuable to him. I really think it would be, and for that reason, Ecstatic should have themselves a third. HEET money. What a terrible place that's in as well. They will have a 2-round loss bonus, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, they're on the single, right? Because they were on 2. They won the last. Yeah. So it's down to 1. So it's $1,900 per player. That's nowhere near enough to get everyone into a full buy. So here you're going to have to take an eco in the next round, or it's a very, very mismatched buy of pistols. And so for that reason, Ecstatic 3-1, but I feel like in the back of their minds, they'll know it's going to be a 4th as well, because it is indeed HEET with $0, basically. Nice kill from Afro. The exit's good. Ecstatic suffering a little bit financially as well, but nowhere near to the same levels of the French squad.
Yeah, it's not to the extent of HEET, but at the very least, he's made it a little bit more awkward in terms of now Ecstatic have a little bit more of a fuller buy coming in towards round number 5. But as you mentioned, this is one of those rounds and scenarios where, for the most part, we expect this just to be chalked up to an ice easy 4th on the board for Ecstatic. There's no investment, or barely any investment, around the AK saved by Afro. It's full USPs, apart from 1 deagle and the most minimal amount of utility. This should be Ecstatic making this a 4-1 start. And I gotta say, the T-side from Ecstatic so far has been exquisite. It's looking very, very clean.
Oh, nicely done, Afro. That's the only
Just
rifle.
as I say.
That's the only rifle. And they've brung in a 2nd kill. Or a 1st kill, but a 2nd weapon. Jax, oh, big ding to Kraghen. No, surely this round doesn't slip out of the hands of Manx. Good damage done to the first exercise. Brilliant transfer from Manx, though. But it's still a 2v3. There's AKs rolling. Both players panic as both smokes used. Joko has eyes on the bomb in just a moment from now as well. Kraghen's going to walk right into it. No questions asked. Does indeed fall. Bomb dropped even further into the open. And it is just Manx against 3. I said it was going to be a 4th, and I said Ecstatic knew it. They did not know the moves that HEET were going to bring out here on the USPs. Manx, 40 seconds left. Checking deep. Going to hear the drop of a first. It'll be body first to 4, but the 2 AKs stay alive. Joko and Afro, they've got work to do. Manx will take the fight, but not expecting the player to be on site. Joko aggressive, and that's HEET 2nd on an eco round as well.
HEET have somehow, from the most, as we mentioned, minimal investment around that. 1 saved AK turns nothing into something, and that never should happen. You look towards what they had coming into it. It was An AK-47, that's it. No investment around, as you mentioned. It was, what, 2 smokes and 1 flash, and a bunch of USPs, and they somehow walked away for second. Ecstatic, that is a brutal round to lose. And it has long-term effects too. Yes, he have picked up a second round. Yes, he took, once again, within an arm's reach of Ecstatic, but most importantly, look at the economy towards Ecstatic. That for them was a must-win round, not only for the fact that he had nothing really to contest, but also the fact that their economy was struggling just a little bit. Look where we stand now. Heat, to be perfectly honest, on paper, should be tying this game up 3 rounds apiece, because for Ecstatic, this buy, well, I was going to say it's going to be minimal, but it looks like they're going to force around the AK-47 a Breezer, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a bit of a risky one.
I agree.
Money wouldn't be looking too good for them, though, if they took an eco and bought in the next. I mean, sure, there's probably going to be 5 AKs, and that would be the argument to the average player that plays this game. But I think Ecstatic want the utility behind it as well. So they're going to try and take a bit of a fight to Heat, in the hopes at least that they can maybe do the damage and bring down their economy. That's a great start. Breezer able to catch off Joko, and AK dropped. More importantly, Afro goes aggressive. Oh, he can have a molly. Cabbi will donate him the incendiary grenade. Also gets a flash thrown his way as well. But a man advantage in favor of Ecstatic. This is where the force spike can get a bit dangerous, because it's a gun picked up as well.
Well, in a similar fashion to Heat, somehow making an eco work, Ecstatic want to do the best response, and it's not a bad start at all. The first of 4, Joko out for the play, but the Afro AWP is still the real cause for concern for me. Manx, he might sneak his way through the smoke, and this buys them some time, space, and information towards bathrooms.
Gonna get scary. Smoke dropped in. Afro trying to create a bit of a virtual gap between the two sides. Ecstatic will try and close it though. Flash is pretty good. Manx got to claim the AWP, and he will indeed do so. But Manx for the second as well. The Khalil, this is the scary thought, because sure, Ecstatic take a buy and the weapons look worse, but it's just the sheer determination of Manx to clear out the A site. Exercise and Jack's left to save. This is a 4th on the board for Ecstatic here.
Yeah, nowhere to be seen, and as Twitch chat has rightfully been saying, spam these banks to hype up Manx. A double for him. That Khalil doing wonders towards the A site. And as you mentioned, they have to go for a save here. They can't afford to let the AK and M4 and S fall out. I mean, their long-term economy isn't in the worst of states, but it's all about trying to stabilize it. And in this case, they can't. The AK and M4 is long gone, tucked away over towards that B site. Ecstatic extend the lead to 2 once again with a 4-2 scoreline. Really, really nicely done from them. Manx's double proved to be so, so important. And I guess another thing that's really, really important on the back of that is the fact that they have an AWP coming towards the next. They don't have to spend a lot of money to invest into it. It's not going to affect their bank at all. Breezer will be able to wield the big green. And Ecstatic, again, another scenario for them to continue extending this lead on the T side of Overpass, which is easier said than done.
Heat's money low, but they've got a pretty decent buy in this round, and that's going to be a scary one for Ecstatic. They go for the 4-man boost. Catching Ecstkraghen's POV as he chucks the molly in on short. HE line up for the barrel's position as well. But for Ecstatic, they don't settle for the man up. You thought maybe the AWP was going to claim something. Not going to happen though. Flash banging on long. Ecstatic, very slow beginnings. No immediate control right now, Neo. I think they're just trying to get a feeler for how Heat are trying to play the CT side. Yeah,
that's it. They're sort of trying to figure out what's the best way to play this. I think for Heat as well, they're in a similar scenario. They're still unsure about how Ecstatic is setting up their T side. They can't read them as well as they read Entropic in that previous game, and hence they're sort of struggling to gain a control of this map, gain a control and an understanding of how things are set up. Kraghen for the opener. Jack's gonna fall. That's an important kill. Now, man advantage once again collected by the T side.
Nicely done. Ecstatic now got to make the integral decision of which bomb site they work towards, and the bomb sitting outside B right now does give Heat a bit of hope. They've got it double stacked. And as the cavalry starts to arrive, as Queenix and Breezer arrive on scene, who's going to find the first kill? Kraghen has info on 2, and it's actually a lineup, a double kill, one of which is teammates, and for that, Afro will punish. Body dropped by Queenix's Khalil. And it is the man up here for ECSTATIC, but no bomb. 15 seconds left. They have to get a move on to get it planted. Queenix will find the headshot onto Afro, and it's the FAMAS of Joko against 3, and he'll be cleared out as Queenix's snappy response to make it a hat-trick.
There it is. 2-round lead. ECSTATIC starting to pull away, starting to, well, at the very least have conversations about how they're going to dictate the pace and the tempo in towards the T side.
Yep.
Gotta say, so far looking so good for them. For HEETs, you're looking towards round number 8. Unfortunately, it's that tough situation. No hero AK, no hero rifle or anything in towards round number 8 for them. It's a full eco. They got 1 flash to work with in a retake, and that's safe to say pretty minimal. We'll have to wait and see how this one plays out nonetheless. For the time being, though, you got to say, ECSTATIC on the T side are looking really good. And I want to mention, while we've kind of got on the eco round, and this one is not in the same kind of fashion where we expect anything major to happen. I'm really impressed with how ECSTATIC have rebuilt. You look towards kind of that roster they had towards kind of the start of 2022. It was kind of a really well-performing roster. I actually spoke to Wolfie today, in fact, and we were talking about, the highs that roster achieved. And I'm just saying that interview will be coming out very soon. But, what to say as well, that, it was a really good side, and they were at one point regarded as one of, if not the best in tier 2, just because of the results they were putting up. And then for those players to go their separate ways, Birth of Sky now at Flames, Fascia going towards Fnatic, it's big pieces to the puzzle going, right? And they've managed to rebuild with a core from Masonic, and it's done wonders. This is looking like a really solid side, and credit to the guys over at ECSTATIC, because they know how to find talent.
Nice first kill from Manx, the second one, Kraghen making it the third. And ECSTATIC dispensing of these USPs very easily. Played things slow out towards B, set the feelers out, and ECSTATIC have themselves a 6. The 4-round gap here. HEET's eco in the previous means that they're on a full buy in the present. How's it look heading into round number 9, though? Can HEET respond? Can they start to work on their story in this CT half? Or ECSTATIC going to continue to run away with this matchup? It'll be at least 30 seconds until we find out. A pause called by one of the sides. Tactical or technical, we don't know. But my guess would be this would have to be a tactical one for HEET, because they've really got to knuckle down and start winning these rounds. Because this map's one of the more CT-sided ones we have in the pool.
Yeah, no, it is. And this is a similar fashion to what we saw in our previous game, but of course it was HEET who are kind of walking away with a T-side on Nuke. Another one of those maps that is generally seen as one of the most, or one of the more T-sided maps, and a similar, or CT-sided maps, I was saying, and a similar fashion, Overpass is in that conversation. It's normally seen as a little bit more in favor of that CT, just because of how well you can get the early bit to control, how well you can dictate the tempo of the map. And so far, HEET aren't doing too great of a job. Of course, to mention this is a best 3. It's not the best of 1 single Elim brutal format that we see time and time again. So this isn't do or die for the likes of HEET, but they need to pick their game up.
See what HEET have here. It's another eco for HEET. I haven't decided to go for a full investment. Clearly wanted to keep some of the money for utility, build up the loss bonus a little bit more, and then they can start to provoke the ECSTATIC side maybe a little bit further. Slow beginnings once more here though for the side of ECSTATIC. This time Connect Control was something they looked for. Spam coming out for Manx. No damage done just yet. Molly dipped in over the top. Gonna try and displace a couple of these HEET players. HE lands on exercise. 30 points of health here. A minute on the clock. ECSTATIC yet to move, but I'm guessing this is going to be an A play.
Yeah, U-Turtles B once again. HEET, little bit of a gamble stack here, because they try and find some, well, a hope and a prayer here that ECSTATIC walk into them. The back spotted. Joko only takes the most minimal amount of damage. He will finally fall to USPS of Breezer. That A site is looking vulnerable, to say the least. The bomb's going down here. Post-one sets up. I don't think he can really do too much, but there's no point saving these pistols. They may as well give it a go to try and find some damage, find a kill, potentially even salvage a rifle.
They got wall banged by the AWP for 8 points of health. How ridiculous is that? 8 points of health. You having a laugh? It's like you shot a Glock through the wall, you know? Probably would have done more damage. Afro, tagged up by the wallbang of Queenix. ECSTATIC geared up, ready for this retake, if it were to come their way. But by the looks of things, as you said, Heat maybe second guessing, giving away so much money to that ecstatic side for the kill bonuses. Afro will get taken down through the wall. 3 players survive. Exercise body. Jax left. My guess would be Jackson body. They're going to try and get as far away from the site as possible to not take any damage. Both players do, so saving the half armor basically rendered useless. It's just not giving away any money to, of course, the T side. Ecstatic 7-2 ahead, though.
High-round lead built up. I mean, this is, well, in a similar fashion to where Heat made the game concerning, I guess, in Tropic, it's kind of reversing over here. Ecstatic, a brilliant, stellar T-side performance from them, where Heat can't even seem to scratch the surface of trying to break down how Ecstatic are setting up. They're manipulating that tempo so well, where Heat are ever so slightly overextending. They're losing that man advantage. They're getting into a dicey spot. And yes, this is Ecstatic's map pick, but they're putting up a statement in towards their T-side, which will become so difficult to replicate for Heat when they're on the T-side.
Let's see what they have in store for us here. Molly nade combo for body. Goes for a jump spot as well. Ecstatic going to go for a fast play towards B. That's a great entry from Kraghen and Manx. A 2 for nothing so far. Body at least will respond with 1. A1S ammunition nearly lines up Manx as well, but he does go for 2. So Ecstatic sure have a man advantage. Low HP for the rifleman. There's every world of opportunity that this round could still go their way. The nade will finish the job. Ooh. And there we go, Heat in a 2v2.
Doing up. One will go down. That's the priority. I don't think Ecstatic really understand where Heat to set up here. They know one from that nade is coming through from CT. They got the second, though. Heaven is a worry. Breezer holding with the AWP in towards Bridge. He's committed to the angle. Afro looking for information, but he won't be given it. They're close and personal. More close than he expects, too.
Oh, brilliantly done. Joko finding Breezer. Cabbi left alone in the 1 versus 2. Spotted out, taken down. We don't have kits. Is there enough time? The lads in the server definitely will have the 10-second music on, so I'm guessing the fact that we're all calm and chill about it, there will be enough of it. Afro will hold it down. Ah, plenty of time, in fact. There's probably like, what, 3-4 seconds extra on that. So no worries at all for Heat. And they do eventually find themselves a third. The gap down to 4.
At least making it a little bit more of a competitive affair. It was getting already kind of concerning, where Ecstatic had the potential to, again, continue to run away with things, and most importantly, guarantee a lead at the half-time. If they had found the 8th round, I already start to get to a point where I maybe ask questions of, do we just turn our attention towards Dust 2 already? But thankfully not. 7-2-3 Heat. At least starting to make somewhat of a comeback. Nice full of buy for them. HE will come through. Joko and Ecstasy take the initial brunt of damage, and body gonna try and replicate.
As you said, Exercise coming off worse for wear in that initial HE. Shouldn't be too much of a worry here for Heat to hold on in the early stages. Plenty of util being expended early doors, so a little bit more worrying, I think, as the seconds dwindle down, because as you can see, we've got 2 smokes and 2 mollies for the remaining minute and 15 seconds. So definitely not the most ideal of scenarios to be in. Manx, he's able to trade for his teammate. First kill and the second go his way for Ecstatic, though. Body's going to be in water. They need to clear this angle out. Bomb dropped. A second kill denied. Queenix holds his nerve. A bullet away from death. And it is the exact same scenario as the last, but this time it's Queenix low HP and no Manx in the round. They're going to try and do their best to deny. Counter mollies lobbed in by both parties, slowing the tone even more. Cabbi needs to get back onto site to plant the bomb.
That's it. Now, of course, a repeat is setting up that long-range battle. We saw kind of an unfortunate situation with the AWP miss last round, and that kind of cost them the round. A shot through the smoke doesn't find the success, and I think they're just falling away here. I mean, they're just going to go for exit kills, potentially. I mean, as we've seen time and time again for the CT side, that their long-term economy has been in a really dire state. They've been struggling a little bit. Yeah, they're going to go for the save. Afro's got to prioritize keeping that AWP in play. He can't afford to allow for that to fall, right? For Heat, this is already getting out of hand. And Ecstatic up to 8 rounds. They guarantee a lead at the half. And on the T side, this is absolutely brilliant from them. Similar to what I was saying earlier, I'm really impressed with how Ecstatic have gone about this game so far. It's a mature approach in terms of the way that they're dictating that pace. And Heat can't seem to keep up, or they can't seem to even understand what is going on in terms of how things have got sort of already so far out of hand.
What I just want to say, right, how Heat haven't read into the fact that ECSTATIC have gone every round bar one towards B. Like, they love the B site, and we're still not expecting for it to happen, you know? 8-3, Heat, 2 FAMASs, 1 AK, 1 M4, 1 AWP. It's a bit of a pick and mix buy, but it's one that definitely can work out for them. 8-3. Looking for 9. Afro leg shot early on. CSGO aiming a little bit too low. Catches him, I think, in the kneecap more than anything. Orb dropped across to Brzer. And that little HP lead given away to ECSTATIC at the early stages of this round.
Of course, for now, a little bit on that slower tempo side. This is what EcSTATIC have been actually very, very good at, to be fair to them. They're very good at kind of cutting that clock a little bit, which is what we were saying about Heat being struggling to kind of read into how the C side are setting up. Now, for the first time, what might seem like a long time, EcSTATIC looking like they might go towards A. The B side has been a real point of strength for them. This time, a banana take here. The bomb's actually doing the charge. A jump spot will come through, and now they've just got to pull the trigger, and they will. Joko will fall.
How he doesn't go for at least one there is going to be a mystery to me, but a myth for EcSTATIC is how Body's able to get away with 2. Afro the 3rd. Brzer and Kraghen, a lot of work to do. The AWP continuing to spam out here. Checks behind. Wants to take the oppressive position, though, with the AWP, as Afro makes it a 2nd. Heat have 4, and they have a chance back into this game. EcSTATIC still lead with a big, big margin, and financially they're pretty set for the rest of this half, so don't think there's going to be too many worries financially. Heat, however, still feel like a deer in the headlights, where one lost round, they freeze up, they tense up, and we're back to square one, where it's ecos and, you know, USPs across the board, which is something that he definitely do not want. Considering they're on the CT side, and this is the EcSTATIC map pick, you would hope the debut half of this best of 3 goes a little bit better for them.
That's it for sure. Now, of course, bit of early damage on towards Brzer. He won't mind too much. The nade and the bullet will find Manx down to 42. Not the start he was looking for. Connector control, a priority for Heat here. But for EcSTATIC, again, similar to them. Testing those wards over towards B. And they're quite spacious here. They can maybe wrap the bomb back towards A if they're tempted to, but their default of B seems to be where they're heading.
Slow tone once more for EcSTATIC here. It feels like a game of musical statues until the minute mark, you know? The music starts playing with a minute to go. Afro. That's going to be a very nice audio cue in his ears. Not quite music just yet. But the dink definitely heard with the AWP as he takes down Queenix. 5 versus 4 in favour of Heat. Not to mention Jax's position. Oh, it's brilliant. It's so brilliant, in fact. Kraghen caught on the rotate. 5v3. EcstMankz, Brzer, they're going to have to make their move towards the upper site. It is in towards A. Loses a kill. Go in favour for CSGO. Accurate. Very clinical with the AK. But that's a brilliant shot from Afro. Goes for the no-scope, but it doesn't even matter. Finding one through the wall is ludicrous. And now CSGO and Brzer with so much work to do. 10 seconds left on the clock. They have to go for the plant. CSGO will try and punch in the digits. And I think he'll just about get away with it. The wallbang still attempted by Afro. A missed shot from Brzer. And CSGO caught reloading after finding 2. A quad kill from Afro. And it's Heat up to 5.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Better, right? Much better. And thankfully, we're starting to see what Heat are attempting to do. It takes individual brilliance, and that's the thing that concerns me slightly, is that where Heat have found success, it's off the back of individuals stepping up, and the AWP of Afro has been lighting up the scene. But when you take a look at the scoreboard as well, you know, for EcSTATIC, apart from one out of Brzer, unfortunately, the rest of the team relatively even. Not the same case over towards Heat. It's one individual who has been consistently brilliant. That of Afro, 14 and 7 he is currently sitting on, and he has been tooth and nail clawing this Heat side into keeping this competitive. Without him, EcSTATIC just walked this first half.
Afro's been potent on that AWP, and he's looking to kickstart this round once more in their favour. CSGO find ahead of Joko, though. Gets aggressive. Brzer on short, finding a 2nd. And now EcSTATIC starting to animate themselves in the first few moments of the round, and they've walked away with a 5v3.
Well, actually, now it's looking like it could get worse. There it is. EcstCabbi overextends and Kraghen gets a freebie. Body in from behind. One, make that two as Queenix will follow suit.
Brilliantly done. 3v2 scenario. Cabbi's going to hit all the steps of Heat right now, though. Oh, this could be a massive lineup for Cabbi. This could be the round-ending maneuver. Sure, the weaponry switch. Breezer, you can't stick around there. Cabbi surely has relayed that information that they're going to be close. Breezer caught off guard. That's the AWP dropped. What are EcstATIC doing? Cabbi will find the first. Low HP for body. The bomb of Manx is yet to get moving. 40 seconds left, and I think he'll be legging it towards Connector to join his teammate. Cabbi and Manx now going to make progress towards B, and I think they know exactly where body is out on A.
Yeah, that's it. Bombs go down as well. And for body, I think the second that bomb goes down, I mean, you've got to say this, surely. It's the penultimate round of the half. He's going to look for potentially... Oh, it's a leg spot. He's got the information on one at the very least. Will he expect Cabbi? Is the sound cue's been heard? And I think they have. They're setting up for a crossfire here. If Manx falls, trade will come through. Yeah, body's going to fall back. He's got to. Has to fall away. He can't afford. I mean, you look, you're $700. He's most likely going to drop it back over towards Afro afterwards, but in towards this final round, there's a real opportunity and a probability that EcstATIC walk away with a 10th here. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the buy for Heat is going to be lackluster. Yes, they've got a bit of a loss bonus built up, but even still, I don't think it'll be kind of enough to grant them a real comfortable buy, and that's exactly the case. Afro 2.1k, body 2.1k, EcstCabbi 1.4. It is a horrible scenario where, on paper, again, as we've seen time and time again, EcstATIC utilize their long-term economy and stability to probably net them another round and go in towards the half at 10-5. This is a stellar showing on Seaside.
And it could be double digits for EcstATIC here. A 10-5 half on the T side of Overpass would be something I haven't seen for a fair while. 4-man boost by Breezer and a leg shot. Exercise caught. Tagged up a little bit. Not the worst amount of damage done. Definitely could have been worse for wear for Heat and losing the early man. Afro, oh, he's going to have this angle held down. Queenix swings in. Orp will collect the first. That's a brilliant start for Heat.
Well, at the very least, with a low buy, making something of this. That deagle of EcstATIC is the thing that concerns me, but it shouldn't. He rattles off for one. Manx will fall. The flash will come through, and he still remains alive. He can post up in the smoke if he wants, but body will fall. Might be one more, and Jax comes alive before he's traded.
Breezer 1v3 to give EcstATIC double digits. An AWP against the odds. Minute left on the clock as well. There's the first shot for Breezer. Starting to close in maybe on the angle to collect the bomb once more. A smoke to try and give him some leverage. Flashbang goes in on Monster. Picks up the bomb. Where does he look next? A boost over the top. This should be Joko picking the kill up quite easily, but no. Breezer moves past the smoke at a very optimal moment. And this could be a move towards A here, Neo. This could be the bait and switch. He patiently wait for maybe the noise to be made towards B. But Breezer, he's on CT. And he can plant the bomb freely on A.
That's it. For Breezer's opportunity. Bomb will go down. And now for Heat, how do they play this? Do they go for that pincer maneuver? Do they split up and try and play a little bit of a split coming through? And that's going to be the case. Breezer's still opting to wheel for the big green. What can he do with it? The rotation math bro is coming through. He's looking to engage his first fight. Surely information's heard here. You mentioned it.
Easily. Afro. Oh, but he missed the shot. Breezer now, he has to find it in the 1v2. Players going to be coming from both sides. One with a deagle. All drawn, but a missed shot for Breezer. Low HP and Afro will convert. Oh, my words. I got simple versus ends vibes there. If Breezer hits the AWP shot, that's a completely different story. But indeed, Heat will just about walk away with 6. But that is a very impressive T-side for EcstATIC. Very, very impressive T-side, in fact. They're up by 3. They're on the easier half of the 2 statistically. Heat are going to have an uphill battle here. Man, oh man, Neo. What a beginning of this best of 3 we've had so far. But EcstATIC, their map pick. And they look like the team in control as of right now.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, that 9-6 on a T side, it's It's a big, big lead when you consider this, as we mentioned, one of those maps that generally leans in favor of that CT side. And for ECSTATIC on their map pick, they are doing an absolutely brilliant job, as we've seen before, of just controlling the game. HEET are struggling to keep up with the pace that ECSTATIC are delivering. I gotta say, I'm really am impressed with what they've been bringing to the table. I think a pistol round here for heating towards this this first round of their T side is a necessity. They don't find this pistol round and ECSTATIC get to double digits and continue the snowball effect. I begin to get very concerned. And I think it's probably the best way I can put it. We'll have to wait and see either way. We're just waiting for a couple to ready up for it. The likes of the two teams as well, they can use this halftime break as a bit of an extended attack, right? Talk about what they need to do coming in towards the next round. And for ECSTATIC, for them, getting this pistol round could be those final nails in the coffin being banged in.
Oh. Mate, what a game we've been treated to so far. We're not done just yet either. Still at least one half of Inferno. Oh, of Overpass. Where did I get Inferno from? Mate, what is going on today? The Heat. Listen, I don't want to hear, oh mate, you're in England, you know, you don't know what it's like in, you know, the Middle East where it's like 50 degrees and everyone's like cooking. Honestly, 30 degrees in the UK, it's the worst feeling here, you know?
Yeah, no, agreed.
So I'll blame it on the Heat.
It's muggy.
Speaking of Heat, down by 3. I was going to say it's their map pick up next as well. So although Overpass isn't looking too good for them right now, they have Dust 2 that they can rely on. I feel like they're quite fortunate to be walking away with 6 rounds on that CT side, but enough said about that stint. They've got a lot of work to do on this T side if they want to find themselves in some control. And for those at home, maybe that just join and you know, didn't understand from the title or whatever, and as I've been reiterating at least one half here on Overpass, we still have Dust 2 as well in that second map pick, and if we need it all the way on Vertigo as a decider, it's a best of 3. The winner of this BO3 will be having a very nice trip to Malta to play in the RMRs for the Rio Major. The loser of this has to play in the 4th qualifier. It really is do or die for both of these sides. A lot of work unwound if they are to lose this best of 3.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it for sure. Have to wait and see. Pistol round on the way. I mentioned for Heat, this feels like a necessity. Let this one slip. If ECSTATIC take double digits, I begin to get concerned that the question of too little, too late starts to ring out quite proud.
Very slow so far here for Heat. I say slow, it's quite pacey, but ECSTATIC don't know about it. So maybe ECSTATIC will be slow to realise. They move up long, in towards toilets. Is this going to be the classic MM Cinnamon Swirl strat where they run down
Cinnamon Swirl
straight into the jaws of the dualies of Breezer will find Djoko. 4 versus 4. Now, well, the Cinnamon Swirl quite quickly becomes a Swiss roll because they've got to send it towards A. There's no denying that. They've got to keep pressuring the Ecstkraghen body spamming body, and that's a 4-on-3. The leg up here for the Danes in the second pistol of Overpass.
Yeah, bomb goes down, but the man advantage favors Heat. And this is where they can make it work. And there we go. Afro going to find himself one. Gives them some room to whack with a Queenix lightning fast. Makes that one look so easy. Numbers brought back level and in favor of Heat, in fact. The Julies need a double, but they're not even going to find one. Heat survive the kitchen. And of course, they extend it to 7. They're within 2. And I said it was a necessity for them to find a pistol. And there it is.
The gap can be closed in its entirety now, can't it? That's the reason why you wanted to see them to win that pistol. Let's see what we've got here, round 17. The follow-up for ECSTATIC is to do with USPs. That's it. Heat, however, 2 AKs, 2 Galils, and a MAC-10. That is much better than what ECSTATIC have to offer.
You can't expect it actually to find too much here, to be perfectly honest. I mean, this is just going to be USPs coming through to try and salvage a rifle, get a couple of kills, damage the economy of Heat. But I like the call by EcstATIC. They don't want to go for a force in, because if they do and they fail, Heat not only tie the game up, but have a real potential to even take a lead, just because they'll be stuck in a double eco and everything awkward. Jackson to find one, make that two, looking for three, won't quite find it. Trade comes through and an AK collected. That's what EcstATIC are looking for. Just cause problems, just find the rifle.
Really nicely done. I mean, EcstATIC have got an AK in the hands of Brzer, though, and that could definitely do a little bit more damage. Unfortunately for them, they are indeed going to be heading towards A. Afro's advanced position could catch them off guard. We'll find the first, not the second, though. So, not terrible. Pretty decent stuff to see. Heat still have the man advantage, but that's 2 kills to a side that doesn't have the greatest amount of money financially. Kraghen and Brzer. I mean, that AK could be saved, if I'm honest with you, Neo. I don't see it going for this round. Kraghen might stick his nose in.
I think they should do.
See if he can find an upgrade onto a Galil or onto an AK. Kraghen, he will look to do exactly that. I don't think he'll be surviving very long in the EcstDjoko. Low HP. We'll eventually try and find it. Flashbang goes high, trying to hold these players on sight. The bomb will detonate. He won't get away. But more importantly, Brzer keeps an AK heading into what could be the equalizing round here for Heat.
That's it for sure. I think the idea and the call by EcstATIC there to A, go for the eco, and then of course prioritize that rifle staying in play. Definitely the right call, because it means that there's an opportunity for them to deny Heat from tying this game up, where if they'd gone for that kind of standard meta at the moment, which is that second round force in, the odds are still stacked against them. They lose the round, and well, Heat not only guaranteed tying it up, but potentially taking it one further to the lead in their favor. So I think it's a good call. Now, full buy for them, and the AWP in the hands of Brzer. Also the scary factor.
AKs and Galils against M4s and AWPs. Jax will find the first. Knows about Cabbi as Jax finds a second. Heat find themselves a man advantage. Manx actually finding that kill through the smoke. That is a very nice shot to be hitting. Kraghen going to move up. Brzer misses a shot, a flashbang to try and create a gap between the AWP and the AKs. And it will do exactly that. 4 versus 3. Heat have the advantage, but EcstATIC still hold on to both sides.
Well, that's it for sure. An advantage for Heat, but you mentioned they've still got control of the site. That's the priority for now. And the AWP's still in play. Still gives them room to work with it. Double Galil for Heat isn't quite the comparison in terms of firepower, and Breeze has got a good angle. The pixel peek towards the Divider. And of course, the angle for the shot towards EcstCabbi.
Breezer's up. Making things level. The spam from the Galil. Afro trading out for the AK. Still trying to spam through. Convinced that there's someone there. Body. Takes a little bit of tag damage to the M4A1S. 30 seconds left of this round. Afro, his position so advanced. The AWP on the other side of the wall. Afro tapping away, trying to claim a little bit of damage. Ultimately, it is an A play. Kraghen, he will find one. It's the AWP drop, but more importantly, the bomb at stake as EcstMankz. He's going to make his way through connector. He have no time to go towards B. And so as the committal happens towards A, Kraghen finds himself a second. EcstMankz doubles up. And that's EcstATIC double digits. It's 10-8.
Yeah, and that's with that really good call to go for the eco off the back of the pistol loss, but then allowing them that full buy into that round. That's where the really good call comes through, because they've denied Heat from tying the game up, and most importantly, they've extended that lead to 2 once again. They're just keeping enough of a gap where Heat can never get comfortable. But for EcstATIC, they don't really feel too much pressure, essentially. It's kind of working everything into the play style and the playbook of EcstATIC. 10-8, that 2-round lead. Pause scored, and you'd probably assume this is called by Heat. I mean, you look over towards them, they can go for a hero AK, maybe even a double hero AK if Jax wants to risk it too, but the rest of the buy around is going to be pretty lackluster. The force buy in here would be such a risk by Heat, where if they lose it, it gives EcstATIC such a wealth of a lead. I think an eco or maybe a slight half buy might be the better option.
What do they have in store for us in this round, Heat? By the looks of things, it's just an eco, but we've seen them do pretty decent damage with pistols in previous rounds, in the previous half as well. Glocks, Eagles, and one hell of a dream for Heat to make it 9 in this round. Chances are they won't. There's definitely a chance at some damage. And that's what they're going to be looking to do here. 10-8, ECSTATIC. Seem very in control and Cabbi with some very nice pressure towards short early on.
At the very least, for Heat, it's about trying to find a kill or two. The priority here is that bomb plant because it gives them a stable long-term economy. And of course, regardless of how this round goes out, they will be able to pick out pick themselves up. I'm just intrigued by the loss of the smoke and the regaining of it, of shooting up the ramp. Fair play. Works quite nicely. But yeah, it's one of those scenarios where for Heat, you can't expect too much to come through. They want to get a bomb down because it means they could potentially, with that, pick up an A or B in towards the next, but it's going to be easier said than done.
Breezer spamming away. Oh, had some decent damage, all unconfirmed at the end of the one. Initial magazine dump. Kraken has the opening kill. Nicely taken care of. Joko peeking in. Great shot with the Deagle. Only the one. Manx's response pretty decent with the M4. And that's where ECSTATIC, the range becomes a problem. 11-8, 5 from victory. Heat's eco. I mean, okay damage. But now's their time to shine.
Yeah, now is the time for Heat to show us what they can bring to the table. And they need to. It's already getting a little bit concerning where just because ECSTATIC are consistently keeping enough of breadth away from Heat that they don't have to be concerned, is that Heat, the question, as we mentioned earlier, of too little too late will become a problem. They can't afford to keep allowing ECSTATIC to, you know, keep them at arm's reach. It's getting worrying. Orpid picked up by Afro. For ECSTATIC, they can slow that tempo down once again.
Oh, brilliant push. Pressure from Queenix to find a double. That was needed. Joko and Body both with kills. That response was so required. 3 versus 3. Minute and 20 on the clock. The rotation's going to be looking pretty good here. Breezer in such an unorthodox angle. Exercise going to be caught out. Fair bit of damage done. And he's going to slip away with his life.
That's the important thing. Fall back. Now, with the numbers level, Afro's going to make sure it's not Ecstasy one more and towards Mank. It's all down to Queenix. And look how low on HP he is. Something special needed. There's 2. Oh, but Ecstasy will finish things up. 11 points of HP remains on.
Wow. That was close. 9th on the board for Heat, though. Amping up the pressure here on the T side. They really want this game. They really want a way back in. Pause called. ECSTATIC will probably be the ones to ring on it. Because they've got to make sure the next 30 seconds is used appropriately. Single round loss bonus. Okay-ish money. The money actually is enough where if they are to take an eco, they still will have enough to buy in the next round. But it is a very dangerous game to play if you do go for that Neo. And that's probably the thing that they're currently concocting right now within the team comms is, do we really be wanting to go for a force buy here? I think to play the lesser risk, if I'm honest with you, ECSTATIC should be taking an eco. No,
that's it. I think ECSTATIC forcing in here is going to be very risky in terms of what buyer power they can bring to the table. You know, you look towards Breezer being the only one potentially kind of an actual comfortable buy in terms of, you know, an M4 full armor, a little bit of utility. And for Breezer as well, of course, being the primary AWP, he wants to keep some money in the bank to have an AWP in towards the next. So I think, yeah, you're spot on. Maybe go for a low buy here, slight half buy, a couple of good pistols, maybe a little bit of utility, gamble, stack a sight, and try and work off the back of that. Fully investing into this sort of round will be super risky, and in my opinion, not really worth it.
Maybe it's a technical one, because this pause has lasted a fairly long time, Neo.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, the same sort of things that we were talking about applies, though. For ECSTATIC, there's definitely going to be some sort of conversation as to what they want to be doing here. Heat, not in the worst of positions either. 3 Galils and an AK and an AWP, though. It's like super scary. And in fact, Neo, I'll shut up because they've gone for the force buy indeed.
Okay.
3 M4s. Utility was always going to be the problem with this one, though. So I think ECSTATIC have to think outside the box in this round, and probably why they use this timeout as well to concoct their move, to see what the next line of call is. Do they want to go for something fast towards A? Do they want to try and take the control away from Heat? Or do we see maybe a bit of short pressure applied early doors? Or is this another monster play that we saw from the round previous? I don't know. There's a lot of options that EcstATIC have. Only issue is the limited utility means that they absolutely have to just send for it.
No, that's it. I mean, this is it's a risky buy. I gotta respect it though. It's a very, very risky buy. And if it doesn't work out, it more or less confirms that he will be able to not only tie the game up, but maybe take it that one step further, which is something we haven't seen for a while either. So I think it's safe to say a risky one, but I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table. And I can see the side, you know, we look towards Heat. They themselves haven't got the most of comfortable buys in terms of, I don't, you know, rate the Galil in comparison to the M4A1S. And of course, even the MP9 in certain positions is very, very solid. I'm curious to see what Queenix is going to bring to the fray. But for him, he's probably going to prioritize utility. And I'm assuming since there's a tech pause, it's probably Queenix.
It's always one, isn't there? Always one.
Have to wait and see.
Yeah. Question is,
Interesting. Yeah, go on.
I was going to ask you, are you an A1S or an A4 user? Because
A1S,
saw,
it literally
yeah?
it doesn't make sense to use an A4. Like, it still doesn't make sense.
You
Like,
think?
the A1S is literally better in like 99% of a thing. The only time is like if you're trying to like line up 4 kills and you run out of ammo. But the body shots do way more damage. Boat is still not a 1-kill headshot on either of them, so you may as well go for the M4A1S because if one of them hits the body, you're gonna do more damage with the M4A1S. You can't see traces through smokes. It's like in nearly every way, apart from the magazine clip, the A1S is better. Until it gets another nerf, you got to stick with the A1S.
Honestly, I don't see it getting enough.
I don't think it will. It's pretty good right now.
I think the M4 would get buffed more than the A1S would get nerfed. Maybe
Doesn't need a buff though, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, maybe. A1Ss, that's one of them gone. Cabbi gets dropped by Jax. Early advantage sinking in favour of EcstStatic. Getting the Galil, or at least one of them gone, but at the expense of Ecstkraghen as well. We're down to an MP9 and 2 M4A1Ss here for EcstStatic. Got to do a lot of work here towards A as he lets 2 buy on short. There's one on long as well that he's got to play the game of chase with. Heat. Difficult times, and they don't check long toilets, and Manx will capitalise 3v3.
Yeah, there we go. Numbers broad level smoking towards that banana position. Heat are just trying to confirm the post point has some security. Body expects it. One. Traded immediately by Manx as he keeps the numbers level. Takes a small amount of damage, but in the grand scheme, not too much of an issue.
Nicely done. Jax will find it out on long. Manx, the thorn in the side of Heat, has been eliminated. Brzer in the 1v2. Dinks takes down the AWPer. Brzer in the 1v2. Has them both. Has the chance. And EcstStatic up to 12. Brilliant from Brzer. Heat's money at a minimal. And EcstStatic's force buy pays off.
We love to see it. We really do. EcstStatic, we question the risk. I said I wasn't a fan. And I hold my hands up. Fair play. They know what they're doing. That's why they're in the server and I'm watching it. Really, I'll play from them. 3-round lead again. This is the gap that EcstStatic keep in play. This is the gap that Heat are struggling to chip away at. They can't scrape the surface at dwindling it down to being an even game because EcstStatic are continuously doing just enough. And of course, you look over towards that Heat side and they themselves going to answer back with a force of their own. An AK-47 collected, a Galil in play, supported by the upgraded pistols. It's a rough buy, not even as good as the force of EcstStatic. And it's got a lot of pressure on it to work.
Top 9. EcstStatic 4 from victory. Heat go for a force buy, meaning a lot of their chips pushed into the middle of the felt in this round, Neo. There's a really good chance that Heat can slam the gauntlet low and maybe start writing another chapter for Heat's history here on Overpass. Smoke dropped in on the short molly. EcstStatic, no smoke on Monster, and Cabbi's walked right through. Say, no, it's not B. And so the gamble stack towards A will already come in, and they'll be none the wiser to this gamble stack whatsoever.
towards mid as well. They've got this from Bathrooms control. There's a little bit of hesitancy by ECSTATIC, hence why they're doubling back. A front monster smoke going to come through from Manx, and they're going to triple stack. They've got an inkling that it's going towards A.
There we go. They're going to have a good look here. Manx's MP9's the only weapon that's going to be a little difficult to work with. Does have a bit of damage and the first kill. A1S of Kraghen the second. And whoa, hold on. 3 kills, one of which are TK. Manx has got another. That got scary for half a second. Jax is in the 1v3. Manx's MP9 is still kicking. And all the time that that's alive, it will continue to do damage. 13-9. EcstATIC 3 from victory.
Getting close on their own map pick, and of course then moving into Heats of Dust 2 with a nice advantage under their belt. The force buy of Heat unsuccessful and very barely even causes too much of an issue over towards EcstATIC. Their economy is still absolutely fine for them to invest right back in, may I say, into round number 8 of this second half. You mentioned they're 3 rounds away. Heat starting to feel the heat in this map number 1, and they're struggling to close it down. Full eco for them.
Nade's pretty good for exercise. Takes a little bit of damage. That is disgusting from Cabbi. He has the wall bank, knows his lineups, knows the spams. Afro getting legged up. Galil will find the first. The second for Kraghen as he continues to look for the remaining players on Heat. Not quite all 4. Breezer to pinch one away. But that's EcstATIC comfortably up to 14.
Within two rounds of the All Losers 16, I gotta say, Retro, it kind of feels like it's now just moments, minutes, seconds until EcstATIC see this one out. They've been looking really solid. They were really solid on the T side, and then, of course, they've replicated that same form on the CT. Consistency is key, and that's where EcstATIC have been brilliant. Where for Heat, yes, we've seen moments of brilliance, but it's sporadic.
Indeed the case. HE from Kraghen. Scores a little bit of damage to Exercise and Afro. Last chance for Heat to get in this game, Neo. Losing this round, 15-9, no money. Overpass will be EcstATIC's. Great little bit of spam to come out. Manx, it looks like he should have hit a lot more bullets than that. Body actually would have been spotted. Nade goes in. Even extra damage done to Heat. So although they actually haven't shot a bullet at the direction of EcstATIC, they already find themselves like 80 HP down.
Yeah, not exactly the dream start, is it? For Heat, especially in arguably their most important round in this best of 1. You know, you look, well, it's best of 3, may I say, of map number 1. Because for them, lose this into an eco with EcstATIC on 15 more or less confirms things. They know that they have to find success, that they have to convert this one. And they've already taken quite a lot of damage, which makes the M4A1Ss all the more prevalent. A headshot is all they need now.
Nice shot from Exercise. Cabbi, one in response at least to bring the numbers down. Joko could get some pretty decent timing. Cabbi just caught in the reload. 3 versus 3. So it's not the end of the world. Still a pretty decent chance that he could get this round. Problem is his utility is such a problem. And 30 seconds left. The bomb's only just been picked up.
That's it. That is it. Oh, swinging in ecstasies. Drops Manx. Man advantage collected. It's a question of can they keep it because they struggled from this position before.
Moving in, Joko. Breezer's AWP. Could be holding for that cross. Does indeed fire off. Not going to be connecting. Queenix gone. And so a Breezer clutch required. Not going to happen. Body has the last. 14-10 as a chance for the French squad to get back in.
They've at least extended a lifeline. I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet, but they're making a conversation around it, all right? So we can see what they can provide, of course, for EcstATIC. Buying in, not an issue for them. The AWP coming out again is all good. I've got to highlight as well. I mean, Manx has been super solid. Very good in that rotation play as well. 22 and 14. He has had a really, really solid performance where for Heat has been, as you mentioned, slight inconsistencies here there have been plaguing them. But up to 10, Heat are making this competitive at the very least.
Hear the molly. See the swing. Kraghen caught out, though. Not the greatest of starts. Giving away the early man isn't ideal for EcstATIC considering the funds are low. They will do exactly that, though. Thinking time for EcstATIC. How do they earn this man advantage back?
Abby, that's how they do it. Through Monster. Carrying Queenix, Wombo combo. Drops Jax. Numbers brought level once again, and information too that no one's over towards Monster. They can refocus their attention over towards Short and A, but Djoko finds Cabbi.
That's massive. Holding things down though, the Queenix fort continuing to grow. The remaining 3 towards Monster though. Heat are going to go for a B play. How well does Queenix hold on? How well will he deliver? Finding the first. Surely there's more on the line for Queenix as he finds a second kill. Queenix not quite with all 3. Manx is going to be on the rotate. It's a body 1v2. Breezer will drop in towards Short. Bomb still yet to go down. 35 seconds left. Going to switch out the AWP for an AK, but Breezer has him covered. A brilliant hat-trick for Queenix. And it's map point ECSTATIC.
Map point ECSTATIC within 1. Reaching distance of the first of 3 medals to get yourself that spot at the RMR, and ECSTATIC are doing a really solid job. Of course, to remember, this is their map pick. We are in a best of 3. It's not the best of 1 brutal system here for the RMR spot. So, best of 3 is what is necessary. So, ECSTATIC, the job isn't done yet, just getting this map. They're then got to go towards Dust 2. The pick of Heat, and of course, if needed, we do have that decider of Vertigo. Either way, within 1, and of course, for Heat, that buys in. Great, and Breezer, what a start.
Can't argue with how well he's looked on the big green, continuing to move forward and finding the opening kills in favour of ECSTATIC. Where does the next kill come in? Look at Cabbi's position. Sure, the double push is forced back from ECSTATIC in towards the parts of toilets. In fact, a second kill for Breezer. Even more definitive. Bomb still in the pockets of the Heat side. Exercise keeping it as his own. Minute and 10 to go though, Neo. Another shot connects. This time it's Cabbi from behind. One man for the job. Afro's Deagle. Because right now, Jax's Galil nowhere to be seen. Where does he walk into next? Kraghen thinks he's going to come from the right. Afro coming in from the left. But Kraghen has him killed off anyway. One man to do it all. Jax versus 5. And you said it. And I think everyone believing that it's going to happen. ECSTATIC, they will have themselves a map win. It doesn't matter how much Jax tries to resist. ECSTATIC will have the win. And it is indeed 16-10. Map 1 is theirs, Neo. Final thoughts before we head to a break. Pretty decent stuff.
Yeah, great showing from them. Their map pick is started really strong. That's the key thing. They got the ball rolling for ECSTATIC, and they never let momentum sort of slip away from themselves. Credit to Heat for keeping up the fight, but they just couldn't close the distance. That was the key thing. ECSTATIC always kept, even if it was a small amount, the lead. And for Heat, I think that pressure really started to build towards